Hey folks, welcome to Mr. B Wing's interview with Hunger FF, the International Fist Fantastic Phenomenon. Welcome, Hunger.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, nice, of course. You're celebrated in the community, of course.
A fisting phenomenon. That's
I
awesome.
mean, yeah. I watch a lot of fisting videos, and you are definitely like one of the champs for sure.
It's hard to avoid me on the internet. I feel like if you have like a casual interest in fisting, then you've absolutely seen my butthole somewhere on the internet. So,
it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
That is, I'm not complaining. So.
Right, that's fair. So tell us, we have like a full interview online, but I wanted to just ask a few more questions, get a little deeper and some more like additional pieces to ask you. But in the meantime, what have you been doing this whole past year that COVID's been going on? Like what's different about your life right now?
Oh, there's things that are different about our lives these days. That's so weird. Like, my life has been like, I mean, it's been very different. It's like I was so used to, like, before the pandemic happened, like traveling constantly. Like I was home maybe like a week or two, like 10 days a month, like at most. Like I was always like either I was filming somewhere, there was some event somewhere that I was going to, or some part, some like International Mr. Rubber, like or excuse me, Mr. International Rubber, IML, MIR, like, or MAL, all those things. I was actually in Montreal filming when COVID happened, and I had this like date with this like I filmed with this really beautiful daddy, huge dick, like amazing, like fuck. Oh my god, yeah, it was so much fun. And I had a second shoot planned with him like the next day, and then my mom calls me and she's like, "You have to get home. There's a fucking pandemic happening." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" I'm in Montreal, like minding my own business, like getting my fucking dick on, and like, and so she's like, "You have to get on a plane." And so I called this daddy, and I'm like kind of torn. Like, I don't know if like I should like come home, or if like I really want you again. Like, and he's like, "Well, I think maybe you should, we can always reschedule this." So then, like, as I get on the plane, I'm like, I get to the airport, there's nobody there, it's dead. Right. And like, I get on the plane home from Montreal, and as I'm on the plane, I get a CNN alert that like Justin Thoreau had like closed the borders, and like was like, that was like the flight out of Canada. And I was like, just holy shit. Like literally on the tarmac, like flying away as I get like the thing that says. So then after that, it's just been like, I mean, I took a couple months, I stopped escorting. I started just focusing on, I mean, luckily, like I filmed so far ahead that, like I was good on content. Like I felt for the performers that are filming like kind of as they go. Like I'm currently like filming for August or September of this year. So I have content to go, ready to go. So I was able to kind of weather it until it kind of calmed down a little bit. And then I was able to start filming again here and there. But it's different. It's like everybody's really, it's totally different. I mean, I'm getting fisted far less than I would like to be. So like,
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. It's like I was just playing. I played with a friend the other day, and I've realized I'm like, my endurance is like nowhere near what it used to be. It's like it's crazy. Like it's just because there's been no play. So
yeah.
I feel, I'm filming here now that things are kind of calming down. I'm filming more, more frequently, but. It was definitely a big adjustment. So I got really acquainted. I got really acquainted with my toys, including this one that you guys
see this beast.
were so gracious enough to send me.
Amazing.
So, like,
right. It's got some weight to it, eh?
It's insane. So like, I got reacquainted with my toy collection during the pandemic, so that's nice. a nice thing. So
perfect time for it, right?
Yeah,
nice. Also a lot of online action. You have a lot of online presence on Twitter and all over essentially, which actually reminds me about a story you were telling about your situation with OnlyFans. You had an OnlyFans profile, but they decided that your videos were obscene, I think was the word.
Yes.
and some other words. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that story?
So I had kind of been preparing for, like, I had a lot of guys coming to me and telling me that they're other fisters that felt like they were being targeted by OnlyFans, and they were being like removed, you know, arbitrarily, like rules were being enforced on them, and they were coming to me like, well, why aren't you being affected? And I sort of had this idea in my head. I'm like, well, I'm in the top percentile, so like I'm assuming that I'm insulated. Like I'm like, maybe they just don't, maybe they're turning a blind eye to me because they're just, they don't want to fuck with me or something like that. And then the hammer came down on me. And so it was like, I made about roughly like a third of my monthly income on OnlyFans. And so
Wow.
when it came down, it was like, they write me an email and they're just like, the thing is that OnlyFans is based in the United Kingdom, and the United Kingdom has some of the most like strictest censorship laws, like as far as like online pornography is concerned, than like any country. And so they're super, super strict. Um, and so technically, based on the law, yes, but if OnlyFans would incorporate in like some other country, even just like any literally they could incorporate anywhere, and like the content that we produce, that I produced, would be considered acceptable. But they were very quick to boot me, and then I negotiated with them and I asked them, because I was doing anything at that point. I was panicking because I'm like, oh my god, this is a huge ton of money to lose. What can I do to alleviate what can I do to negotiate with them? And I came up with this idea that I would just rebrand the whole page and just do solo content, which she said was okay. And then like 3 or 4 weeks later, they banned me for that too.
Wow.
And they said that my prolapse was offensive, obscene, and causes distress to others. And so like, I mean, like it's technically a medical condition. So like I was like, it's a disability, like, but like, you know,
They
they
didn't go
didn't
for it.
they didn't go for it. And and when you look at OnlyFans, like if you look at OnlyFans on like Twitter, you would never know that their website is for pornography. Never. Like
Right.
you look at their Twitter and it's all about like fitness models and like watch like this cooking show and like blah blah blah. It's 99% porn, but it's like
Yeah.
they don't want they don't want the general public to like view them as a porn site. So I decided, and the thing was is that the OnlyFans kicked me off the same week that Pornhub and Visa and MasterCard lost Pornhub lost their Visa and MasterCard contract. So there goes like another third of my monthly income.
Right.
So it was like all of these things sort of started like happening all at once, and I was like, fuck, like what does this mean for like the future of like porn, and what does this mean for censorship, and what does this
Yeah.
mean for like what does this mean for like kinksters on the internet? Because if it's like I'm sort of I don't I try I'm very humble about it, but I'm recognized I'm at the forefront of a lot of the kink stuff. And so it's like if they're censoring me, they're censoring there's tons of other guys that are getting wiped off of the platforms, that it's just like it's a scary time to be creating adult content right now.
Yeah.
Because we're running out of places to distribute it. So
Yeah.
and
And
it's bizarre, like with Pornhub, it's like my videos are all still there and available for purchase, but just no one has the ability to pay for them. So it's like
nice.
they're there, it's just they can't pay with a credit card, so it's like how are they going to buy it? So
Right. They
it's
can't.
it's a
It's
weird
fucked up.
thing.
Yeah,
It's
censorship
super
rules
fucked up.
are pretty crazy, and they're getting a little out of control, even for a company like ours. When we post stuff on social media, so many things get pulled down, and they're just simple things of a guy in a jock strap, or if there's like a little bit of skin showing and whatever it
Yeah.
might be. So, we
You know what
get
I've
it.
noticed? I've noticed that's like, it's sort of a weird thing I've noticed is that like you can post, like there can be like a guy that's like completely hairless, like has like no hair on his ass at all, and you can show like full ass. You post a guy with like a hairy ass or like a little hair in his crack, boom, like they take it down like right away.
They're
It's
like hair phobic. It's
hair,
horrible.
they're hair phobic, they're homophobic, they're phobic in general. So yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty shady. Yeah, I definitely think that queers are definitely targeted more. Sex workers are targeted more. Adult content, for sure, definitely targeted more. And it's quite unfortunate because a lot of people in the adult entertainment industry, the porn and sex work industry, rely on these platforms for
Yeah,
livelihood, right?
absolutely. I don't know what I would do without. I mean, like, because most of my income is generated from. I would say almost all my income is generated from Twitter because I don't escort anymore. So it's like I'm super careful when it comes to Twitter. Like my banner is like as plain as can be. My profile picture is as it's a cartoon of me with
Yeah,
full clothes. Like it's like and I never argue with people because even like a simple argument they can report you as being a bully and then your account just gets terminated and it's like I don't engage. I'm just like it is too valuable of an asset
yeah,
to me
smart.
to engage with anybody that's like I'm already like anytime I post my prolapse it's already like it's like I'm borderline breaking the rules anyways, so it's like I got to just be like I'm super vigilant about trying to be careful as careful as I can be.
Yeah, that's fair. It's
So
too high risk, essentially.
yeah, yeah.
But Twitter has some like graphic stuff anyway. I mean, I use it for porn, of course. And
Oh yeah, but so the thing with Twitter, it's interesting. It's like you can have like for me, like I can have my prolapse pictures and videos and whatever,
mhm,
and it goes against the rules only if my entire account is devoted to that. So if I had an account devoted entirely to prolapse, it would be banned. But if I occasionally post prolapse pictures,
okay.
it's acceptable. So the terms of service are so bizarre. It's so weird. It's but I try to follow them as you know closely as I can.
Yeah,
So
you have to. You have to.
yeah.
And so, Twitter, do you use Twitter as well for porn? Let me ask you, what do you like in regards to porn? Do you jerk off with porn, let's say? And what kind of porn?
Um, I absolutely jerk off to porn.
Nice.
I've like so my problem is it's like so I love I prolapse and like rosebuds and like big blown out buttholes are like my favorite thing on the planet.
Nice.
And so but like the thing is I have a weird time beating off to like my friends. And so like since I've been doing this, like I've gotten to know like all of these guys and Timmy and Timmy PH, Punch 93, Dumb Fisting Bottom, or he's like Dumb Fisting Burst now. It's like all these guys that have these like huge and massive prolapses. Like I'm friendly with them. They're like my girlfriends now, and so it's
Yeah,
like it's
it's a
like
little different
and,
then.
and so it's like it's a little tricky for it's like I feel like a little weird doing it, but like I just recently found like on X Hamster, there's this guy that's got this like there's this like tattooed muscle guy with this huge prolapse. It's like I've been beating off to his videos for a while, so it's like generally speaking, like it's got to be like pretty extreme and like pretty hardcore for me to get into it. But it's that, and it's always amateur stuff. Like I just really prefer like seeing guys that I know like they chose to be there together. They want to be there together. It's authentic. It's real. It's not a casting director like being like let's put you together. So
For
that's
sure.
generally what I go for.
Amateur stuff's super hot. There's definitely something a
I
little different about it.
it's always been my favorite. It's like even like because when I've been jerking off to XTube since I was a teenager, and so it's like it's like I've always liked amateur over professional porn. It just seems so more real, so much more real, and I love that it's taken like a huge um like a leap forward. Like that seems to be the aesthetic that everybody likes now. There's always going to be a
Yeah.
need or a desire for like the professionally shot porn, but it seems like the aesthetic that is most kind of popular these days is the amateur stuff that and then I'll say too a little bit about that really quick is that like
Yeah.
it's sort of it becomes like a little set it's like now like the amateur stuff is becoming so like who wants to make content like who it's like
Yeah.
it's not so much about the authenticity of like connecting anymore. It's just about like it's an amateur shot film but it's still like it's sort of like they came together inorganically. So it's like a weird kind of it's a weird space, but
It's
I
almost like
still
it
like
transcend into this new space where it's almost like the produced
it's a
porn
bit
at this
it's
point.
professional amateur content. Yeah, exactly. So
Right, exactly, a merger.
yep.
Nice. And so let me ask you then, have you had any like really rando crazy experiences filming, or better yet, got any like wild or crazy sex story you could share with us?
Okay, so I've been waiting to like tell this story because I feel like it's super funny and
Nice.
like it's I was kind of just waiting for an opportunity for somebody to ask me about it, or ask me like a funny story about something that happened. So it was actually on the trip to Montreal that I was, right before the pandemic happened. And so I played with these guys, and I hooked up with these two guys, and the one guy put like a dildo like all the way inside me, and then like fucked me with it inside. So the toy got trapped, first of all. So then
Yes.
like,
Yes.
so then it became like, at first it was scary, and I was like, fuck, like, oh my god. So we spent, the one guy ditched, like he was like totally like, he was like, I'm not here for this, like I don't
See
want to be
ya.
around it. Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
I'll let you deal with it. And the other guy, thank God, was nice enough to stay with me because I was panicking, and I finally get it out. So he leaves, and I'm like, I'm like, okay, so I'm in an Airbnb,
Wait, do you
and
still have the toy in your ass right now?
no, so I get it out. Like he helps me get it out, and so I'm relieved. He like, it obviously has killed the moment. Like this whole like hour-long ordeal of like
Yeah.
fishing out this, because he had to like reach inside me to get it
Yeah.
by the balls and pull it out. So so then like he leaves, and I'm like, okay, well that's over. I'm fucking hungry and I just want to go to bed. So and Montreal's very cold. This was in March.
Freezing.
It was very cold. And I ordered Five Guys, not
Yep.
Five Guys, but I mean I ordered Five Guys, like food. So I ordered Five Guys, and like I I had it delivered, and it was like they dropped it at the door of the Airbnb, which was sort of in this like foyer area. And I saw, it was like I was on this like little like stand that was in the hallway, and so I like open the door, I see it, and I just like quickly like run out and grab it. And I'm like literally in like a pair of like a nasty pig jock strap, and like I'm covered in dry J lube.
Of
Okay,
course.
like balls of it everywhere, and like, and so, and I don't have my phone. I don't, and then, and I go, I run over and I grab the food, and I turn around and I go, and the door locks behind
No.
me. And I was like, fuck. I'm like, oh my God, it is fucking freezing. I am naked. I am in a hallway in an Airbnb in Montreal holding a bag of fucking Five Guys covered in dry J Lube. And I'm like, what is my life? Like, what happened? And I just had a dildo
Choices.
fish. I'm like, choices, exactly, choices. I'm like, how did I get here? Like, so I sat down, and like, I like, there was like inside that like little thing that they had put it on. It was like, it was obviously like an Airbnb complex or something. And so
Right.
like, so there was like cleaning supplies like in the in this drawer thing. So I'm like trying to scrub the J lube off of myself. Like
No.
there's nobody around. There's nobody, like, and so I had to sit there naked basically, and sit there on like the stoop of this like little Airbnb and just wait for somebody to come that lived in the building or whatever. And all I could remember was my ex-boyfriend, who's like my best friend. I could remember his phone number, but I remember it by heart. So I called him. And so this straight couple comes like walking up the stairs,
No.
and I'm like, hi. I'm like, I promise I'm not crazy, but I was recently locked out of this Airbnb behind me. So can you please like let me use your phone? And the guy was like, honey, go inside. And so like, so he hands me the phone. I call my ex, and I'm like explaining to him what happened. He's like, oh, so like they're just like standing in front of you while you're wearing a jock strap and you're really cold, and like
He's loving it.
you need my help to get back in. And I'm like, bitch, I'm like, get on the fucking computer, get on my Airbnb account, get me the fucking login to this fucking place like immediately, because there's a keypad, but I couldn't remember the code.
Oh,
So
perfect.
he like ate it up, like just making me stand there, just like,
Of
I was,
course.
I was mortified, and I was sure that I was going to get kicked off of Airbnb for that. And she gave me like 5-star reviews. I was like, I was like, I don't know how that happened, but that was the most mortifying like experience, one of the most mortifying experiences in my life. And I was just, I I I, I sat there because I had plenty of time to reflect on what happened while I'm sitting there waiting for them to show up. I was just like, how did I get here? How am I
Right.
covered in? I just fished a fucking giant dildo out of my butt, and I'm covered in balls of J lube, and I'm eating a fucking cheeseburger on the side of this Airbnb in Montreal, and this happened to me. Class. So it couldn't have been like, I couldn't have written it better than the actual, like what actually happened was ridiculous. So
I love that this dildo that got stuck in you also had like the balls on it. I thought it was like a dildo that didn't have balls on it, because that was my first assumption. It was just like a narrow cylinder. I'm like, sure, this happens a lot.
No, balls and all, and he had to go in and grab it by the balls to pull it out, and it was like because like literally balls deep, and it had gone around like, I mean, shockingly, I still have bends and curves inside my body. So like it dipped around something that it wanted to get stuck behind. And so, but the funniest part, I mean, like it's not funny because the guy was kind of a dick, but like the one guy was like, yeah, I'm out. Like he's like, he's like, as soon as it got lost, he's like, I'm not here for trying to stick around to get this fish out of this guy's butt. So but yeah, that was probably the funniest / craziest story that's ever happened to me. It was like one thing after another that day. It was just, yeah.
That's pretty crazy. That's some pretty crazy stuff. I love it.
Good.
Juicy. I miss those kind of like crazy times, right? Like you can't really do that kind of thing right now, or like have kind of wild choices moment these days, which kind of sucks, but hopefully soon.
Yeah, and that was right. It was literally, that was as the pit, because I had mentioned to you earlier, it's like that was as I was getting, like that was the trip that I was on right before COVID hit. And I was just like, boom, life changed like right after that. So I was like, if there was going to be a grand finale moment to my pre-COVID life, that was certainly it. So,
right? Went out with a bang. Nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. Awesome. So what do you have planned now? We obviously don't know what is on the horizon with COVID and laws and travel and whatnot, but what do you have planned for your near future?
So I am currently in the process. I decided back in October, actually right before OnlyFans booted me, I sort of started to feel the writing on the wall, that things were going to come down on me. And so I started the process of developing my own platform. hungerff.com. I have a merchandise line that I'm super excited to start, that's ready to go, that I'm just ready to kind of like kick off alongside the site. So currently I'm filming content that's like exclusively for the new site. I'm planning like twice a month I'll do like safe for work updates that are about like kind of like how-tos or aftercare, or just kind of like educational stuff that I feel like I can give back, like some of the knowledge that I've kind of gained. So that it's not always about like, you know, because the perception is that I'm always all about like extreme, and it's been a journey for me, and I kind of want to share that with people. Like it's not always been, I didn't wake up shoulder deep. Like, and so there's techniques and things that I feel like I can share with people that are valuable information. So I'm really excited to kind of start filming those, and which I'm planning on doing from here. So this is my the new studio, the home film studio that I've built. So
I love it. Amazing.
Thank you. So that's what's coming up next, and that's it. So the merchandise brand is called Hungerwear, and so it's like t-shirts. Everything's kind of designed by. So far, everything's been designed by my friend Michael, Big Butt Geek. He does a lot of like fisting artwork and stuff like that for. So I wanted it to be, I wanted the site to be like for fisters and built by fisters, and like, so it's like I wanted somebody in the community to kind of help me design it, and the developers that I'm working with now are also like big time fisters. And like the first company I worked with, they were like more kind of freaked out by it, and then now I've finally found like a team that seems really excited and eager about it. And so I feel like it's finally the right mix, and hopefully it'll happen in the next like month or two. So
amazing. We'll look out for it for sure. So it's hungerff.com.
Yep. That's
perfect.
It. And so and then on Twitter, you know, it's twitter.com/hungerff, and that's where I kind of keep up with like now, you know, when I'm announcing like when things are coming, and like, you know, as kind of updates as far as how the site's moving along and progressing. So
cool. Keeping us in the loop over there. I love it.
Yes, exactly.
Beautiful.
So
nice. Thanks
awesome.
thanks for talking with me today. Thanks for taking your time out of your busy fisting schedule.
Oh,
And
it was my pleasure. My pleasure.
wonderful, wonderful. And you folks can catch like the full interview on MrBWings.com and go to HungerFF.com for merch.
Yeah.
And we'll see you later. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you.